there. Give me one. Hi. Hi. So welcome to happy Sunday. I hope everybody can hear me. Sure. I hope everybody can hear me. I'm using the pendulum again today. Um, so if you have any questions, please kindly put them in the comments and I'll ask the pendulum. It has to be a yes or no question, of course. And I have a couple of questions. I'm gonna wait if anybody has a question before I start. Yeah, happy Sunday. I hope everyone's doing well. I apologize for the noise in the background. I have a very loud air conditioner. So yeah, there's that. How's everybody's Sunday going? I'm gonna give it one more minute. Let me know if you have any questions. Yes or no, of course. This is the board and this is the pendulum. And right before I start, I do a little test to make sure, just to warm it up. Just something that I got into recently, and I thought it would be fun to do it here live. So let me know if you have any questions. Again, if you have any questions for the pendulum, let me know, and I'll ask it. I have a few questions of my own that I've been curious about. I have a podcast called Black Hole Sun, and I do a lot of like conspiracy theories, aliens, mostly aliens, um, different comic franchise. So I'm gonna ask the pendulum yes or no questions. So if you have a yes or no question, go for it and let me know in the comments. So let's start. So the first thing you do with a pendulum is you ask it basic questions just to get it like I guess warmed up. That makes sense. So I'm gonna just ask it something that I know is yes or no, just to start. Oh, hi, Christina. I'm gonna ask that in a second. Let me just get warmed up. Anybody have any questions? Let me know. Yes or no. Do you want to, Christina? Do you want to be specific? Like, do you just by the end of the year, by summer, by spring? I mean, by spring. We're already past spring. Some by the end of summer or fall or winter, or you just want to know in this year? That we can do that too. Hi, hi, Ashley. All right, guys. I see we have a couple of questions. That's awesome. Give me one second. So, the first thing I want to ask it is my name Marcial? If you can see, it says yes. All right. So then, to make sure, it says a very big yes. I'm good, Ashley. Thank you. How are you? I'm not doing duos. Anybody? I am not doing lives with somebody else. So please stop requesting that. Thank you. All right. So then the next question is, do I live in Brazil? I live in Brazil. Oh, great. Happy Sunday, guys. But Christina. Okay. So Ashley and Christina have asked me questions, but Christina asked first. So I'm going to ask her a question first. So no, I don't live in Brazil. All right. So Christina A just asks, hi, will I find out I'm pregnant with twin boys this year by the end of fall? Are you, Christina, can I just ask something? If it's not boys, are you going to be, because there's a lot of elements to this. Can I just ask if you're going to be pregnant with twins by the end of the year? Because I think that's kind of that's such a specific question and it can be convoluted a little bit because You're asking, well, at the end of fall. Sorry, I didn't see your other comment. So can I just ask, will you be pregnant with twins by the end of fall? Would that be okay? Because I just feel like the twin boys thing is too specific. Um, Let me know what you think. Before we go to Christina's question, I'll go back to Ashley. Ashley asked, "Will my husband and I reconcile our marriage soon?" Okay, pendulum. Will Ashley and her husband reconcile their marriage soon? It says yes, Ashley. It says that you will. I don't know in terms of soon. If you want to know a specific time, I can ask that, but it says soon. So yes, it is. Hey, Christina. Okay, so I'm gonna ask for Christina A. Will she be pregnant with twins by the fall? Would she be pregnant by twins by the fall? It says no. Do you want me to ask it about maybe winter? Will she be pregnant with twins by the winter time? Will she be, will Christina A be pregnant with, okay, so it says you'll be pregnant with twins by the winter time, not the fall. I hope that's helpful. Yeah, no, sometimes it just does it. Sometimes it's really slow and sometimes it's not. Okay, Christina, I hope that was helpful. It said you'll be pregnant with twins by the winter time. So I think winter, November, December, January. So I guess it goes back to what you said about the end of year, but I like to be as specific as possible so we don't get like confused. Um hey Ashley, yeah, well Ashley Cole, if you don't mind me using your full name, Ashley Cole reconcile with her husband in the next month. Ashley Cole reconcile with her husband in the damn. Okay, yeah, well that's a yes. Um, a very big yes. So you look out for that, Ashley. I hope I can help. I'm hopefully this is helpful for both you ladies. Oh, thank you, thank you. Have you ever heard it before? Um, I always think it's. I'm gonna put this down for just. Well, I'm gonna keep holding on to it. Just a second. Thank you. It's Maciel, Maciel or Maciel, and not too many people know of it. But like, I grew up in mostly Puerto Rican Dominican neighborhood. And there's a lot of Maciels or Maciel. So to me, it's like a regular name. So people say, "Hey, I've never heard your name before." I'm like, "Oh, okay. I guess not." Hey, Christina. Okay, can I ask? Oh, can I ask? Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, sure. We can do that. That's why I was like, when you said twin boys, I was kind of like, that seems super specific, and I don't want to, So I have to ask two questions, Christina. Like, first, say, is it fraternal twins or identical twins? So let me see. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you so much for participating. Really appreciate it. Thank you. So for Christina A, will she be pregnant with fraternal twins? Will Christina A be pregnant with fraternal twins? It's like a weak no. Hmm. Will Christina A be pregnant with identical twins? Okay, so I think it's a yes. Seems, hold on, let's just wait a second. Will Christina A be pregnant with identical twins? Okay, this is yes, and no on fraternal. Um, so there you have it. It says identical twins. Um, Give me just a second. My arm started hurting. I'm gonna switch arms. I'm gonna ask it. Maybe we can ask it specific sets. And so I started doing this because my mom used to do this to find out, like, for people sex the babies. Okay, so we know now that it's winter and it's gonna be identical twins. Well, will Christina A, will Christina have identical twin boys? Yes, it's boys. Will Christina A have identical girls? No. So see, that's the thing about the question. Like, you ask the question like identical boys, you gotta ask a bunch of questions first. I know it sounds really ridiculous. No, it's okay. Any other questions? I'm cool with it too. That's why it's here. But this pendulum is actually really good about babies and stuff like that. I don't know why. My mom used to do it for people who wanted to know about what babies, like the sex of the baby. So okay. So I hope that's helpful, Christina. Thank you so much for asking. Hi, Ashley. I do have another question. Oh, okay. I'm assuming that that person's your husband. Will Ashley Cole and her husband have another baby? Well, oh, hold on. Let me just make sure. Will Ashley Cole and her husband have another baby? Oh, it says yes. Hold on. I just want to make sure I'm right. Will Ashley Cole and her husband have another baby? Will Ashley Cole and her husband? Okay, so it is yes. Sorry. I just wanted to make sure I was right. So it says yes, you'll have another baby. I'm so glad, Christina. Aw. If you ladies have any other questions, or if you have any friends on the app, have them come over. I'd love to answer some questions. I'm gonna go into my questions right now. Um, like I said, you're so welcome. I'm so happy I could be helpful. Oh, thank you, ladies. Follow and share and do whatever. Thank you for sharing. Um, okay, let's see. Any, um, it's just one house. Let's see. Will my boyfriend and I get the new Will my boyfriend and I get the new house we both agree on before I get pregnant? Okay, that's specific. Other hand, my one hand is giving me some pain. This is probably why I don't do this so often. Will my boyfriend and I get the new house we both agreed on before? Well, I should say me. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Christina. I'm doing so I do these pendulum things. I also do oracle card readings here. So I'll do them live like twice a week, but I also do like acting stuff. So if you have, I used to be well, I'm still technically a casting director and an actor. So I do that too. Yeah, that's my spiel here. I'll follow you back when I get off the live. Okay, okay. Let me just make sure. Okay. So Christina A just asked, will her boyfriend and her get the new house they both agreed on before she got pregnant? Okay. Will Christina and her boyfriend get the new house? Says no to that house. Says no. And again, you know, just to put a positive spin on this, you are the master of your own destiny. When you do card readings and you do things like this, you know, it I know it's oh, thank you. I also dance and I do martial arts, so I'll put some of that out too. Sometimes when you get a negative, I always say, don't look at it as a negative. Look at it as the universe is going to give you something better than that house. There will be something way better, maybe in a better neighborhood, better. Like, you're just like, well, wait a minute. Oh, thank God we didn't agree on that house. This is a better house, you know? You just never know. I always like to let people know that don't see a no as a bad thing. Sometimes it's the universe trying to get you to do or trying to bring you something better. Okay, okay. You know, it also might mean like we also didn't give it a time space, so I don't know what the no was. So you'll have your house. You'll have your house. Maybe not the one you thought you're gonna have the best house that's meant for you. That let's leave it there. Like the house that's meant for you, that's perfect for you, that you like the the dream house is gonna be yours. Yeah, no, I feel you. If you're having twins, you need a lot of space. I used to be a nan. I used to nanny twins, And I know how much I had two really rambunctious twins, and they were just like, I take them to the park every day, have them run around, and still I bring them home, and they're like running around, and their parents, like I was with them all day. Like I remember on Sundays, I'd be at their house from, let me put this down for a second, from like 8 o'clock to 8 o'clock at night. I used to make a lot of money just with the Sunday babysitting, and there were two fraternal twins, boys, and it's New York City, and those apartments are like they had a lot of money, but the apartment was like you live in a penthouse on like the nicest part of town. There's no space in there, you know. They used to have a playroom downstairs, which is fancy for New York. So they lived right next to Central Park, and every day I'd take them to Central Park or I'd take them on a walk just to get the energy out of them. Um, Twins are no joke. Twins are no joke. But I will say this: it's a blessing to have twins because they have each other. You know, when they get older, they're always gonna have each other. Now have like it's like a built-in friendship. I mean, I'm not a twin. I don't know. I'm just from taking care of twins. I've realized that they have each other, and that's really beautiful. They definitely can look to each other, and they'll always have each other's company. Like long after you're gone, I know that's morbid, but long after you and your husband are gone, they'll have each other. Yeah, yeah, they'll have each other, and that if I had children, I would want twins because that would give me good peace of mind. Yeah, I grew up in a place called Jersey City, which is in New Jersey, right across the water from New York, and I spent most of my life in Manhattan, New York, and the boroughs. Right now, I live in Brooklyn, New York. I lived a little bit in LA. I didn't really like it, but I love New York. New York is amazing. I always tell people you gotta come visit it once in your lifetime. It's an amazing place. It's truly an amazing place. It's definitely a place to explore. Hello. Yes, I'm still taking questions. How do you say your name? Uri? 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 Okay. Let me know what your question is. I'm still taking questions. Um, I think the best way we could do this is I've been doing this for just friends. If you can give me your real name and well, you don't have to give me your real name, but just tell me how to pronounce your username correctly so that I can ask like in your case like Erie wants to know when they're getting their new car or whatever the thing is. I don't want to mispronounce your name. So just let me know the question and if you could be specific as possible, that'd be good. Airy. Airy? Okay, perfect. Thank you. I have a difficult name, so I try to be respectful of the pronunciations of others because I know how hard, like, I've gotten some funky pronunciations of my name. Yes, Airy, we're still doing questions with the pendulum. It's only yes or no questions. Um, if you could be specific as possible, that'd be great. But let me know what you want me to ask the pendulum. Um, I can ask whatever question you like. I've been doing this since I was a kid. My mom started doing this. She would do it for mostly people who were pregnant, which is funny because Christina asked me about twins. So that made me laugh a little bit because that's like, she's passed on, my mother. So it's like she's here with us too. She used to do it for like, but she didn't have a pendulum. She used to have a necklace with a charm. You could do that too. Um, it's all about energy. Like I'm not doing anything spectacular. This is all for show, you know, like the pendulum and the board. But I can do this without it too. So she used to do it with a necklace and a charm, and she used to do the question part, and she would do it in people's hands, like the dominant hand. So if you ever want to try it on yourself, go for it. It's fun. Ari, you want to ask me the question? I can ask right now. If I follow the LB program, can I get a decent result over time? Okay. Uh, Christina, I can ask specific. It says winter, so I'm thinking November, December, January. Let me just ask Aries question first. Yeah, no, it's just not like this is for show. Like this is for show. You could just use like a necklace and a charm. But Ari wants to know um if they follow the LB program, can I get a decent result over time? So Ari wants to know if I can follow. Let me just make sure. I'm like a little nervous. Ari wants to know. Ari wants to know if they can follow the LB program. Can they get a decent result over time? If Ari, well, that's a yes. So that's a yes. Of course, yeah, yeah. No, it's cool. Yes. So your question, Ari, is a yes. Okay. If you have a question, I just want to make sure if anybody has a question, please write it in the comments and I'll ask it. It's only yes or no questions. I can't do any um super deep dives. I just have yes or no here. So I hope that's helpful, Ari. Thank you for asking a question. Christina, you wanted to know the month? Let's ask a couple of questions. Will Christina and her husband, well, your husband's not getting pregnant. Hello. Well, Christina, yeah. Also, I've been doing this for a while. I've been doing this since a kid. I used to read palms too. Palmistry, like I used to do. Palmistry was more my jam, and now I don't do it as much. You're welcome. You're very welcome. Um, but I'm studying it as well. I'm studying it as well, but um, that's a little harder on these apps because I can't see anybody's palms unless they send me a picture, and that's hard. Oh, okay. Sorry. I didn't realize. I'm sorry. A lot of people ask me questions, so I just so let's say for Christina, your Christina A, will she become pregnant in November? Okay, so that's a yes. I'm gonna ask December too, because sometimes okay, let's ask December too. So I want to make sure. Will Christina A get pregnant in December? Okay. So far it said yes to November, but I want to just ask all the winter months. Will Christina A get pregnant in January? That's a no. So it says November. So it says November, you'll get pregnant, or you'll know you're pregnant, or it will happen. It, you'll get pregnant. I guess we can't be too specific. So yeah. So if anybody else has any questions, jump in. Christina, did you hear my answer? So November, it seems like you'll get pregnant. That's what I asked. That makes any sense. Everybody, you're so welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. So I do a podcast where I talk about aliens and sci-fi and sometimes conspiracy theory, but I kind of steer away from political conspiracy theory. That's not my jam. Oh, great. I'm glad, Christina. That's not my jam. It's more like aliens and like superstitious stuff, like stuff like that. It's called Black Hole Sun Podcast. I try to do an episode every week. Sometimes it's a little. Oh, great. Okay, cool. Thank you, Christina. I appreciate it. Really appreciate all you guys asking questions. So I'm gonna start asking questions about different podcast episodes I had. So one of my podcast episodes, I did it on Sasquatch. So you see where I'm going with this? I do a lot of like monsters and metaphysical stuff, not like I did have one on QAnon, but I just did it because I just wanted to make my opinion clear about them. But I want to know Sasquatch, Bigfoot, is he real? Is Sasquatch, Bigfoot real? No! Pendulum. No! I really want a yes, but. So if you guys believe in Sasquatch and Bigfoot like I do, apparently the pendulum's saying no, he's not real. Like, why are you like this? Pendulum? A real hard no. Like, hard no. Pass. How long have you been doing spiritual stuff like tarot and pendulums? Um, I've been doing it for a while since I was a kid. My mom used to do it, so I used to do palmistry. I used to read palms, which is fun too, but it's harder to do it on these programs because it's like, how am I gonna see your palm unless I do? Like, I have to like individually like add a guess and look at people's palm. And it's hard with the computer. Like, not everything is clear. Like, it's better to see the palm up front. The pendulum thing, I've been doing it since I was a kid because my mom taught me. I would see her doing it with like her friends that would come over and want to know like how many kids they're having and like the sex of the babies. And so it's funny that you asked that because exactly why I got into doing pendulum. But I didn't have an actual pendulum. What I would do is a necklace and a charm because that's what she taught me to do, and the person's palm. This is just a great other way to do it without the person being in the room. Card reading, I've been doing it for a while. I used to use playing cards when I was younger, because it's really not about the cards. I mean, it is about the cards, but it's also your kind of your feeling about the situation. So you can pull out some playing cards and do card reading too. The other fancy ones, like I have tarot cards, I have oracle cards. They're great tools, but you kind of have a good idea what the answer to the question is in a lot of sense. Um, so yeah. So what is this? Let me I've got to scratch questions out because I'll forget. So we just asked if Bigfoot is real, Sasquatch, and the pendulum said no, which is so rude. That's rude. I always thought he was real, but let's ask another monster question. What about you guys know a Chupacabra? The goat sucker? He's a famous monster from my family's from Puerto Rico, so we know about El Chupacabra. But also Mexico and the DR, and apparently in Texas too. So let's talk about Chupacabra if he's real. Is the Chupacabra real? Oh, apparently he is real. I think he's a government experiment that was like a hybrid of a dog or something. Oh, yes. So he might not be an actual monster. He might be a government experiment gone really wrong, which happens, but he is real. A chupacabra is real, which is scary. But yeah, the monster from a nightmare, he's real. Yeah, great. Good to know. Yeah. Oh wow. Okay. I have an episode about that. Let me get off my list. Chupacabra is real. Let's see. The Loch Ness monster, since we're keeping on the yeah, yeah. La Llorona. Yeah. I gotta do an episode. I gotta do a podcast episode on her too. Thank you for bringing her up. But yeah, the chupacabra. Um, you know, I was doing research for the podcast, and what's weird is there's no like when you go online, like the Google and stuff. There's no how do I say this? There's no records of a chupacabra until up until 1995, which I think I call BS because I'm a little older. And I know that my mom used to talk about it, Chupacabra, when we were kids, like in the 80s. So how is it that you look up stuff and it's like, oh, 1995 in Puerto Rico? That was one of the things in Puerto Rico, which I'm like, he's not just in Puerto Rico. And, I'll totally claim him, but he's in Mexico, he's in Texas, he's in so many places. How is it that they have a specific date, 1995, in Puerto Rico? Somebody saw a Chupacabra. I was like, he's been around for a while. It's folklore. I don't. It says here. Oh, my grandmother lived near a river and said one night she heard it, and I was like, shit, girl. Oh my gosh. Um, my grandmother had a farm in PR in Puerto Rico, and she said that something had eaten. It wasn't her goats. I think she didn't have goats on her farm. She had like chickens and cows, and something like ate like a chicken one time. So yeah, no, I get you. Have I ever heard of Destination Truth? No. Was it on like the networks, like ABC, or was it like more on the cable networks, like Discovery and stuff? Let me go to the next question. Okay. Any Edgar Allan Poe fans out there? So Edgar Allan Poe died of mysterious causes. Apparently, he was doing some sort of election. This is I don't okay. Everybody has a different story about it. This is the story I heard when I did my episode. He participated in election fraud. He was an alcoholic. If anybody didn't know, I mean, you would be an alcoholic too if you were that sad. Um, and he apparently got offered alcohol or money or was forced to do this election fraud thing, and then a couple of days later they found him like unconscious. Some stories say he was unconscious, some stories say he didn't know who he was, and then a few days later he died. I want to know, was Edgar Allan Poe poisoned? Was Edgar Allan Poe poisoned to death? And that's a yes. I kind of figured because he was very popular, but he was also kind of a mean guy. He wasn't very nice. I mean, he had a like, if you like check out my podcast, he was kind of a jerk, but yeah, he wasn't very nice. So I figured he got poisoned by one of his enemies because he would write these like terrible. He was, besides writing, his Victorian fiction, his detective fiction, he was a reviewer of other books, and he was just so damn mean towards these other writers. Like he would be like, "You don't know how to write," like, but just be like, he's so educated and he was such a wordsmith that he would say the nastiest things about these writers. And then I realized that the writers he would write about, suddenly they didn't. I don't even know who half of them were because they kind of disappeared. Like that was his power. A lot of people hated his guts. So yeah, Edgar Allan Poe was poisoned to death, which is interesting. Down for a second. It was on a travel channel, I think, back in the day, and they did an episode on Chupacabra and Bigfoot. Oh, okay. I'm gonna write that down. Destination Truth. I'll see if it's on YouTube because you know how like YouTube has everybody posts something about something on YouTube. So Edgar Allan Poe poisoned. Okay, check off my list. Let's see. Oh, do you guys know about Amandaville Horror? Well, Amandaville is a town in Long Island, and there was this house back in the day. Well, it's still there, by the way. There's a house there in Amityville that is considered to be very haunted. There's been movies about it. There's been books. This particular family said that this house is haunted. I've actually been there. I'm gonna be biased because I've been there. I've passed by it and we've been outside, and it's creeped me out. But I don't, I personally don't know if it was like a feeling because I was little. I was like 4 or 5 when I went. I was out. It just, after seeing like maybe a little older because if I saw the movie, I'm probably a little older. Um, there's a lot of tales about this house in Amityville and the Amityville Horror. This couple, this gentleman and his wife and his two steps children um, moved into this house. And prior to them moving into the house, there was this grisly murder. So when they moved into the house, stuff started happening. They heard voices, windows. One of the windows shut on one of the boys' hands. In the movie, they talk about the walls bleeding, but I don't know how true it is. So there's a lot of theories about this because the couple got really famous, really rich from these stories. So a lot of people think they made it up. Also, if you don't believe they made it up, the, later I found out that the son, one of the stepsons, said that his stepdad was into Satanism. I don't know how true that is because the stepson kind of hated his stepdad. So I'm kind of like, I don't know. But I want to know if the house in Amityville, the house from Amityville Horror is actually haunted. Is the house from Amityville Horror? Okay, well that's a yes. That's a big yes. I kind of figured it was. Oh yeah, yeah. I Ghost Adventures went there, and the evidence is creepy. Yeah, so it's a yes. I mean, I kind of knew it was a yes too. I have no idea. There's people living there now, which is crazy. There's just too much evidence. There's as I was doing my research for my podcast, I found out that the Motoc Indians. My apologies if I'm saying it wrong or if it's not the specific tribe, but the Montauk Indians. Um, this was an area. This particular area, they consider it to be like a vortex of like evil. A lot of people have died in that area back when they were fighting other tribes, and there was some sort of, they believe that this particular land where the house sits on had some very bad energy, very, very bad demonic spiritual energy. And this is the Montauk Indians. And they warned people not to build houses on that land. And, the government was going to do what they were going to do. Yeah, are you kidding me? I would never live in that house. But I'm telling you, it's crazy. But I'm honestly, the whole thing with the Montauk Indians telling them, "Hi, Joe. Well, we're doing if oh, I'm so sorry. I started going into this whole thing about Amityville. So if you'd like a yes or no question, just put it in the comments. I'll ask the pendulum. Right now I'm talking about Amityville. I just asked the pendulum if the Amityville house is um haunted. If it's haunted, it said it was a strong yes. I did a episode of my podcast about it. Okay, we're totally going away. So yeah. So thank you. Part. Hey Joe. So you're trying to find out about Jackson. Okay. So Joe wants to know if Jackson wants to be. Does Jackson want to be his girlfriend? And does he have romantic feelings towards me? So does Jackson have romantic feelings to? I'm gonna ask one at a time. I can't do both at the time. Does Jackson have romantic feelings towards Joe? Says yes, but I want to make sure. Let's do it one more time. Does Jackson have romantic feelings for Joe? Joe, how old are you? Too cute. Does Jackson want Joe to be his girlfriend? Oh, that's a yes. I used to do this when I was like younger. But oh, will Jackson be contacting Joe soon? And that's a yes too. He'll be contacting you soon, so don't worry about it, okay? Aw. I hope this was helpful, Joe. That was a good yes. Yay! I'm glad I could help. See. Going back to my questions, Joe, I hope you heard that. He will be contacting you soon, and he does have romantic feelings, according to the pendulum. Okay? Keep being you, Joe. Always remember that. The Amityville house. Check. Let's see what else I got. Ooh, my hand is starting to. Yes, he likes you. That's what it says. Um, Joe, do you mind me asking how old you are? Can you tell me how old you are? Are you a teenager? I mean, you don't have to tell me how old you are. You can just tell me if you're a teenager. Let's see. I'm going through my questions. You're welcome. Let's see. I'm enjoying asking questions about monsters. So the next question I want to ask is, does anybody know about Loch Ness? I want to go to Scotland just to see Nessie. I call her Ness. She's my girl. So I did a whole report on the Loch Ness monster. I know I'm pronouncing it wrong. I can't do that whole like Scottish brogue thing. So I did a whole report on Loch Ness. I fell in love with her. I'm a little obsessed. I don't think she exists anymore. I think she's passed. Oh yeah. Do you want to ask it before I do the thing on Loch Ness? Let me know, Joe. Oh, I'm so sorry, Christina. Hold on, Christina. I'm sorry. I did not see a question. Hey, I'm gonna do Christina's questions too. Joe, let me know. Christina, you want to know if Ivan will message you in the next 2 days. Christina, will Ivan message Christina in the next? It says no. Well, Christina, it didn't even let me finish the sentence. Christina, will Ivan message Christina in the next 3 days? No. So it might be sooner. I did. I said that, Joe. He does miss you. I think I said that, right? Oh, maybe I didn't. So that was for Christina. Sorry, I started talking and I didn't look at the messages. Um, hey, if anybody's just maybe I'll be in the next 4 days. Who knows? Let me get to Joe's question so I can finish up. Um, if anybody else has any questions, I love hearing questions from Joe and Christina and Ashley, but I'd love to hear some other questions too. Everybody can ask a question. I'm gonna Joe. Does Jackson miss Joe? Oh, yes. That's a yes. He does miss you. I hope that was helpful. I hope that was very helpful. So yes, he does miss you. Okay, let's get to Loch Ness. That's my question. I'm gonna have to end soon because my hands are starting to get a little like nummy from holding this pendulum. So I unfortunately might have to end really soon. Um, actually, let me give me a second while I. Yeah, give me 1 second. My hand is getting a little nummy from holding it this way. So, please, if you have any questions, you're welcome, Joe. If you have any questions, please put them in the message. Oh man, this hand is getting nummy. Okay, for Christina, will Ivan message back Christina in the next week? Oh, that's a yes. See? We will get back to you in the next week. Oh, that was a hard one. Christina, will Ivan get back to Christina in the next week? Yes. Okay. Let me ask. Whew, I want to ask about Nessie. Is the Loch Ness monster still alive? Is the Loch Ness monster still alive? Is the Loch Ness monster still alive? See, I knew it. I knew it. So a lot of the Loch Ness monster story was back in the day. Um, so apparently she is no longer alive. Oh well. Well, you can't find her. Oh, I hope so too. I don't know what he's doing, but I hope he does contact you soon. I don't know for what, but I, yes, whatever you want. I don't know if I should. If does anybody want any other questions? Um, wow, 42 minutes. We went long. No, of course, Christine. This is what it's for, Christina. This is what it's for to ask questions. Um, and I appreciate you answering questions, and it made for a very lively stream. Everybody's asking questions and getting in here. I added my questions because I just wanted it to be like different questions. But yeah, no problem, man. I'm happy to answer any questions. Yay! Let's see. Let me look at. Oh, I did a podcast on the Son of Sam. Do you guys know the Son of Sam? From the 70s. He was like killing people in New York in the different boroughs. And oh, I'm sorry. The name of my podcast, for any of you 90s kids, is Black Hole Sun Podcast. And yes, it's named after the Soundgarden song. I wanted to name it Super Unknown, but there was already a podcast named after that. So I decided to call it Black Hole Sun Podcast. You can find it on Spotify. You can find it on, I think, Apple Podcasts. I do it through Anchor. So I make a little money, not a lot of money from like when people listen to the sponsorship commercials. I'm starting to get some traction, and in the next couple of weeks I'm gonna start doing commercials because I just got some sponsors. Nothing major, but some small. So I'm excited about that. And I usually talk about weird and wacky stuff. That's my tagline. And we talk about the weird and wacky stuff. So it's like ghosts and monsters, conspiracy theories. Um, lately I've just been on a comic book Marvel DC kick, so I've been doing a lot of those. I started a series called Cartoon Conspiracies. My first episode with that was with the Powerpuff Girls. You'd be so surprised how many of these cartoons have like these conspiracies attached to them. I'm gonna do one on Hey Arnold. Um, There was now I can't the Cowardly Dog. I can't remember the whole thing. Yeah. So a lot of cartoons have some sort of backstory to it, or like these fan theories. A lot of them are on Reddit, but it's interesting to watch. I mean, it's interesting to read. The one on Powerpuff Girls really surprised me on some of the theories that I have. So go find my podcast and listen to that episode. The latest one that I just did was on Loki season 1 on Disney Plus, and I talked about Loki and what's going on. Hopefully, you watch that series, and you can kind of use the episode as a complimentary kind of thing with the series. I also take suggestions for podcasts. I'm always looking for ideas, so let me know. I think my hands are telling me that because they're getting kind of tingly, I think that I'm gonna do one last question and I'm gonna sign off. I will try to do either pendulum or card readings here every Sunday, and if I do whichever one I do on Sunday, then on Wednesday I'll do the opposite. So this coming Wednesday I'll do a card reading here, maybe around this time, hopefully around this time, because I did the pendulum today. So come back on Wednesday and I can ask the cards any questions you have, or I'll just do a general reading for everybody, depending on who's on. So I'm doing this one last question, and then I have to go because my hands are starting to get really numb, and I always take that as a sign that it's time for me to like be done with my broadcast. So this last question is about: does everybody know who the son of Sam is? He was if you don't know, I didn't know who he was either because I wasn't, I wasn't like alive at that time. So Son of Sam was a serial killer in the 70s, I believe 1977, who went on a murder spree throughout New York, killed people in like Brooklyn and I think the Bronx and Queens. And people were really frightened. I have an older sister who's much older than me, and she was alive at the time. She was a teenager, and she said that I remember my mom was, "Thank you, Christina. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your energy. Thank you." Um, so the son of Sam was on a murder spree during the 70s, and the whole thing is kind of sketchy. You start looking into it. Like, I get it that people were really excited that he was caught, but I have a lot of questions about his association with other people. Even the murders themselves seem to be, what's the word? They didn't kind of gel. Um, there was a lot of corruption in the New York Police Department at that time. We know that. Um, and a lot of people believe that the son of Sam didn't work alone, that he had other people he worked with. But the police department, I guess, to shut up the public and to shut this case, kind of just put the whole blame on this guy, David. Oh my gosh, why am I blanking on his last name? But they blamed it all on one person. So I want to ask the question. Oh, as my hands are getting number, I want to ask the question: the son of Sam work alone? Did the son of Sam work alone? Okay. Yes, I always thought he worked with somebody else. I guess I'm wrong. I also want to ask: did the son of Sam was the son of Sam part of a cult? Was the son of Sam a part of a cult? So that's a yes too. So he was a part of a cult, but he worked alone. I don't know. I'm not convinced. I really think that there's other people involved in this. Even though the pendulum says one thing, I don't know. I really feel like I maybe okay, here's a better question. The son of Sam, the son of Sam worked for somebody. The son of Sam worked for somebody. Yes. So I mean, working alone is a different question. It's like, wow, if he worked alone, he killed the person by themselves. But maybe someone asked him to do it. So yeah. Okay. So that answered my question. Any last questions before I go? I gotta go. I gotta go. All right. So thank you so much for coming to my live stream. Like I said, I'm gonna try to do well, oh gosh, I have so much going on. So possibly Wednesday, maybe Thursday, if it doesn't happen, I'll have card reading. I'm trying to do twice a week, like either pendulum or card reading. So check back here on Wednesday And if not Wednesday, I'll let you know. Like I'll put something up saying, hey, it's gonna be Thursday. I always put a schedule thing on my page saying, hey, I'm gonna do this on this day if I'm gonna do any kind of live. Um, so this because I did the pendulum today, I will do card reading Wednesday. I'm hoping Wednesday in the middle of the day around the same time. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I answered some questions. Thank you so much. Please, follow, subscribe, give this like a like or whatever you can do to put it out in the world. And thank you again. Have a good week.